Things move so quickly at this time of year, so I think for today's garden update, the plot is going to probably look unrecognisable to some of you. I'm so excited to show it off, but I do think it's going to be a very long one, so do put the kettle on, sit back with a nice cup of tea, and enjoy. Now the eagle-eyed amongst you might have noticed that the colour's slightly off and I look a little bit red, but it's not a mistake with the video, it's just that I'm up here extremely early today. The sun is just rising behind me. It's about 5:30 in the morning. You might be thinking, why is he at the alarm at 5:30? And I'm thinking the same thing, but I had one of those really bad days yesterday where I was really excited to film a load of stuff and we went looking for butterflies and it was really exciting, but all the footage was absolute rubbish. And there were loads of other little annoying things, and it was just one of those days where you kind of go, you know what, I think I'm just going to write this day off, I'm going to go to bed and forget about it, knowing that I'll wake up and it'll probably feel fine, I'll feel much better. And I do. Woke up at like 5 o'clock and went, right, let's actually get the allotment sorted today. But first, the garden update. First thing to talk about, these Andean salad leaves. Now, hopefully, you will have seen these in the neem oil video. They're absolutely huge. And to be honest with you, they've never tasted that great. Very much grown as an experiment, and as you will have seen, they've just been absolutely decimated by the aphids. I think these are all going to come out today, to be honest. Get in the compost. It's one of those things. We're experimenting, growing lots of new things. These are okay. I had a few little bits in salads, but they're just a bit tough. Not super nice, so yeah, it'll be nice to make some space. Also, in the same bed you'll see there's a really lovely lettuce there. There's another one just in the background. But they're the only two we've got left. And these all year round lettuce have grown so well. They've been exceptional. Probably my best crop to date. I must have had a good 8 of these really good sized, lovely tasting, crisp lettuces. Real success. As I say, really pleased with the all year round lettuce seeds. I really recommend those actually. I was a little bit worried, and I'm not sure if it's snobbery or just kind of inexperience, but not being used to buying seeds, being my first year. Those all year round lettuce seeds are ubiquitous, they're everywhere, they're the kind of ones that you see in Wilko. And I thought, ooh, they're probably going to be slightly easy to grow and maybe not the best tasting, but they're amazing, really nice, like one of the nicest lettuces I've ever had in my life. So yeah, I do recommend those. Behind me we've got the onion sets. Ignore this, this is I put this in, I think, winter, fairly early on. This was literally the first thing I ever grew here. These onions, I just found a whole onion in the compost and put it in the ground to see what would happen. And soon I can collect the seeds after it's flowered, so that's nice. And just here, you might remember, this is where the spinach was. So I had a nice line of spinach in here. These are little babies, and down here we have the first thing that I've direct sown that's come up nicely, which is these little spinach plants. That was rubbish. That bolted almost straight away in this part. But the onions are looking okay, quite modestly sized, but they're coming along. And just down here you can see the second set of onions. Not looking too bad. One of them fell over, but I was able to rescue that. And behind that, the carrots. So down here we have the mixture of the alliums on the right that I've grown from seed, and the carrots on the left. Considering both of these were a bit of an experiment and I wasn't sure what on earth was going to come up, I'm fairly happy. I know it does take a little while to get onions if you grow them from seed, but there's definitely some spring onions here. I should harvest these for spring onions for sure. The carrots, I have no idea what's going on under the ground, as is often the way. Unfortunately, there is one here. You can see it's just starting to form something. A few of them have been got by various pests. Oh look, there's one there that's come down. It's a bit of a shame, but you know, you're always going to lose a few. And there's another row at the back there. There's a little gap in the bed that I should probably fill here. Weeds have come back, great guns recently. And got my marigolds lining the edges as well. They finally came up. They're the ones I grew from seed. You will have seen much earlier episode. So yeah, first 2 beds, pretty successful. No harvest from this second one, obviously, yet. Oh, I forgot this. This coriander plant, I just so happened to find growing here. It was just germinating, and as I was weeding, I saw it and thought, is that coriander? Gave it a smell. Sure enough, it is. Oh, and over here, being very overgrown, you might just be able to pick out there's some little seedlings in here, and they are the garlic chives. They were doing nothing. I mean, they look pretty much the same as when I sowed them 2 months ago. So I thought, hey, I'll put them in the ground, see what happens. Exactly what I did with the onions. And they do look like they've established. Slowly getting better. And now we come to the potatoes. So, first 2 beds, okay, good, thumbs up. Potato bed, not so much. Some of the rows are fine, okay, so row 1, a little bit small. Row 2 and 3, looking pretty strong. But row 4 and 5, absolute rubbish. So I did pull up one of the rows, row 5, and it was pretty pitiful. We got maybe about 6 or 7 potatoes. That was the line that was all dying back. Did not look happy. And I think, talking to other plot holders, is probably that these have not had enough water. So, lesson learned. I mean, a lot of them have got some damage on the leaves, which I'll show you. But you never know what you've got under the ground until you dig it up, and we'll see with the potatoes. It's nearly time to harvest some more, so fingers crossed. Moving on from the slightly poor show with the potatoes, we move to bed number 4. Courgettes, cucumbers, some butternut squash at the end. These have exploded the past few days. They have gone absolutely crazy. Lettuces on the right there looking okay. One of them's been got out by the pigeons, and the weeds are really starting to take hold here. So weeding's on the list for jobs to do today. But you can see courgettes are starting to form. I took my first one yesterday, a little baby one, but that's when they taste the best. Cucumbers definitely need a bit more stringing up. I think I might have made this kind of trellis for them a little bit small, but they're looking okay. There's a little bit of aphid, but certainly not the end of the world. And with repeated applications of neem oil, I think they'll be okay. Got another fat one developing on there. And these butternut squash, they took a little while to finally start growing. They were hit quite hard by slugs, but they are finally putting on new growth now. Might have put them out a little bit early. But yeah, what a successful bed. Should probably have some more lettuces or something in here. Do have the marigold though. I really do love filming this early because there's no one to laugh at me when I keep making mistakes because there's no one else on their plots yet. But yeah, final bed, the Brassica bed. I think it's looking pretty amazing, to be honest. These things are skyrocketing. The vegetation growth on here is crazy. I've been giving it a little bit of a feed with the nettle tea, the nettle fertilizer. They're all just going great guns. A lot of pest damage on here, the flea beetles, the cabbage whitefly as well. But neem oil, as I've said in that other video, is bringing those under control. I've just got to keep on top of it. Amazing. One thing that time has highlighted with the Brassica bed is that I very early on got the labels wrong. And there's a huge amount of purple sprouting broccoli in this bed. I wanted a kind of equal mix of cabbage and purple sprouting broccoli, and it's like 90% broccoli, so Either I'm wondering about whether to pull some up, maybe trade it with a neighbour. I'm not sure if it'll be able to re-establish very well or not. But failing that, I'll just have to take lots of cuttings of purple sprouting broccoli and trade it with other people, hopefully. But yeah, like I say, always remember your labels. And then we'll come over to the little raised bed just over here, which has been, oh so good. My favourite bed, hands down, the strawberry bed. So I said in an earlier video, these strawberry plants were gifted to me by a plot neighbour, and they've just been incredible crop. There's some on there at the moment. For the most part, the slugs haven't got to them, and the birds haven't. They've been kept off by this very horrible makeshift netting, but we do what we've got to do. And yeah, pretty much every time I come up here, I'm just snacking on fresh strawberries, and it's such a little thing, but it makes such a big difference to have up here. It just adds to the pleasure of the experience, really. If I start to get a little bit stressed out, if I keep getting my takes wrong when I'm filming, come over, have a few strawberries, chill out. I love it. Now, in the rest of the strawberry bed, we've got these brassicas here. Wow. Please excuse the foghorn. And I thought this was kohlrabi, but it turns out I've got a cabbage in there that is getting mullered. The slugs have arrived, and this bed is where they've been most active, which isn't that surprising. If you look around it, there's a lot of vegetation. There's this big pile of rubbish that needs to go to the tip at some point. There's lots of hiding places for slugs and snails. But I've pulled up 2 kohlrabi from here. They went to my dad for Father's Day. That was his Father's Day gift, so excited to hear what he thinks of them. But yeah, this is the first crop that's actually getting properly mullered by slugs. I thought it was caterpillars at first, where these leaves are pushing up. But no, I've looked and you can see it's clearly slug damage. Look at this leaf. Absolutely decimated some of it. So we move on to the mini bed adjacent to the greenhouse. We do have this nice paving down now, which makes a little bit of a difference. This bit was really weedy. Got a water butt there. Spent a little bit of time getting that kind of propped up so it could collect water from the gutter. Only to find that the tap down here is completely broken, so water just comes straight out. Not the end of the world. Some more of this Andean salad leaves. I'm going to pull those out today. This is what the spinach looks like. Ridiculous. There are some lower leaves on here I can harvest, but it's going in the compost, unfortunately. And then just down here we've got some tiny little pak choy seedlings, which I think are probably going to get mullered by the slugs. Just like this marigold stalk you can see that's been left behind by the slugs for me. Thank you very much. And here we've got our leeks. They're looking really good, actually. They're ready to be, well, they're ready to have something done with them soon. I'm just not quite sure what. Oh, and down here, look, you can see the bindweed that's just coming in under the greenhouse. So that's most of the beds outside, but there is one other thing I wanted to show you, which is this golden sun tomato. It's been outside for 1 or 2 weeks now. Not looking quite as happy as the ones in the greenhouse, but it's surviving very well. It's putting on fruit. So it's really good to see. Been a bit worried about this since it came out. Didn't know how it would cope with the nights, but yeah, it's been fine. So you love to... There is one more thing. I was about to say that that's it for outdoors, but there is one more thing. This is honestly maybe the most exciting development on the plot to date. I hope you're ready for this. I finally put a door on the shed. Look at this! An actual working door. Can you believe it? Don't look too closely at it, but it works. I'm so happy to have that. So stupid, but yeah, let's go in the greenhouse, because there is a lot to do in here and a lot to talk about. Okay, so it's a struggle to even get in here at the moment, and I think I'm going to have to talk about this species by species and maybe make some room for it. Oh, good lord. It's overwhelming in here at the moment. Well, let's start with the thing that's easiest to access, which is this pot full of perpetual spinach on one side and kale on the other. The perpetual spinach has been hit really hard by the leaf miner. You can see all this damage in here. But that's fine because there's so much of it. I'll be able to take out the successful plants. Kale looks like it's had a good munch on by slugs, but they'll be fine. They'll be fine. I just need to decide. The difficult thing is deciding where the kale is going to go, because there is obviously no space in that brassica bed. But we'll see. Oh! There is one other thing I forgot to talk about while I'm out here. I'll go very quickly. My dad grew some corn in his greenhouse. He gave that to me. 4 plants, but unfortunately 2 of them were either eaten or broken off by the wind. And then the 2 that are remaining, looking really sad. Looks like something's had a nibble on this. This looks like jaw marks on here. Something's had a little go at it, I think. I don't know if it's mammals or just slugs or what, but yeah, a bit of a shame. And if they do survive, there's a pretty good chance the badgers will get the cobs, unfortunately, the sweet corn heads. But down here as well, we do have something a little bit interesting. Some celery plants. And these were given to me by another plot holder just as I was coming in the allotment. They shouted across their plot, "Would you like some celery?" I said, "Yeah, sure. Never grown it before, don't know what to expect, but we'll see, won't we? It's all fun and games." Anyway, back to the greenhouse. Apologies. Oh, there's another thing. I've got my first nasturtium flowers coming up. A little bit garish. Maybe not my favourite flowers, but nice to have them here anyway. Anyway, actually back into the greenhouse. Now, do you all remember what a tough time I was having getting the spearmint seeds to germinate? Well, look at this. We've got a veritable jungle of spearmint now, which I'm certainly not complaining about, but I do need to find a new home because there's not enough room for it in the greenhouse. And you have to be very, very careful about this spreading seed in the garden, so I'm going to leave these in the pots and I'm going to have to devise a way to make sure they don't start rooting down into the ground. But yeah, nice little success story. Lovely smelling mint. I suppose it's mojito season. Should start making a few, really. One thing I have really learned about the companion planting, either just through bad luck or bad planning, most of my companion plants have been ready a long time after the plants that I wanted to plant them with have been ready to go out, so they've been going out without companions, but we live and learn. Got to try and get these off a little bit sooner next year. And here we've got the all year round lettuces. Now these are the ones that I've been deliberately holding back. You can see just how anemic and pale they look. I have been giving them a little bit of a feed, but it was inevitable they were going to start dying back at some point. I'm going to try planting some of these out, but we'll see. I have started successional sowings. We've just got a few little seedlings. They're a little bit sad at the moment because I think they're a bit waterlogged, but yeah, I'm not sure how well these will survive if I put them outside, considering they've been held back for so long. There's one here that's in the brassica bed, which I put in maybe 10 days ago. And it is putting on some new growth, but you can also see there's a lot at the bottom that's dying off, so we might have some mixed results with these. Time for chili peppers, and oh my god, look, this is a bit of a success story really, isn't it? I came up yesterday, literally last night, and these pods were about half the size. They've grown overnight. Give it a good soak, but we've got our cayenne plants doing pretty well. The aphids are just starting to come back, so need to keep on it with the neem oil on this one. But yeah, then we've got our 2 little babies. I'll pot those up today into a slightly bigger plot. And down here, hidden in the vegetation, we have our 4th cayenne plant, looking very healthy in the quad grow, putting on just so much growth, so many flowers on this, few pods just starting to develop. It's the same story as always really. when I first put it in there, it kind of stalled for a little while, and then it just started racing away, exploding with growth. So freaking cool. I love chili peppers. I really do. It's just as well as the chilies, obviously, they're just such a cool plant. I really enjoy growing them. Something about them. Got some really healthy looking basil here. Happy with this. We've got about 4 plants in the greenhouse. All doing well. Some of these have got 2 in a pot, but they're fine at the moment, just as long as I keep taking harvests. And there's a couple outside as well that have stalled in development, but hopefully they'll start bouncing back soon as well. Today we're very much looking at both successes and failures, and I think we can all agree this one is probably one of my failures, trying to grow rocket. It's all just bolting. I imagine it's because it's in a greenhouse, probably likes a bit more shade, likes it a bit cooler. I was worried about the flea beetles on this. It was a bit young to be putting neem oil on it, so I might try again, or I might put some of this out. I don't actually. What would you recommend? Let me know what to do with the rocket, please. Should I scrap this and start again? Try and grow it somewhere shadier, or should I try and persevere with this one? Not sure. I do have some successional sowings of the Andean salad leaves. Maybe I'll put these out. Maybe with neem oil they'll not get so infested. But we'll see. Gosh, it's not even 7 AM yet and it's already too hot. So last things to show you. The alpine strawberries, looking fantastic. Finally got them germinated and taking off. Love to see that. And then over here we've got our tomatoes. These are the saddest ones of the bunch. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with these, whether or not I'll try and keep them, pot them on. Maybe I might just stick them in the ground, see what they do, because I haven't really got any more compost. But yeah, we've got a couple of beasts. This one over here doing very well, touching the ceiling. That one's in a 5-litre pot. It needs a bit more space really. We've got another one in a 5-litre pot just down here. It's looking okay. It did fall over. Came to the greenhouse one day and this had fallen over at a right angle. I was a bit worried about it, but it's bounced back fine since I just rested it on a couple of canes. The other ones, it's probably easiest if I go around the outside. This is where I've been putting all the plants for today, just so I can actually show you, because yeah, space in the greenhouse at the moment is so tricky. So we've got our 3 tomatoes here. This first one is the Golden Sun. One branch has come off here. I need to fix that today. In the middle we've got our super special Chirola. Very folded leaves on all of these. Any idea what that is about? Let me know. Is it good? Is it bad? Not sure. And then over here we've got the black cherry. This was much smaller than the others. But all of these ones in the quad grow, kind of unsurprisingly, are just looking fantastic, aren't they? They've got the space to grow, they've got the exact feed. They just look amazing. Loads of tomatoes, especially on the Chirola, coming through. So, I mean, I'm really happy with those. They have exploded. They're as tall as me. I'm quite short, but still, I think that's an achievement. How could I forget this one? Crammed into the corner of the greenhouse. I'm unable to get close to it or get a shot of it. But in here we have my chocolate habanero chili plant that was overwintered. And I can just see one fruit on it. Just there, on the left. First time that has ever fruited. Last year I didn't get anything, so guys, there we go. We've had a really good look at everything that's going on in the beds, and had a look at what's going on in the greenhouse. I think I've covered everything. I'm sure there's something I've forgotten. But yeah, we're getting well over 20 minutes now, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. So I will let you get on. I'm going to carry on working on everything I've got to do here. And then we'll come back next week. We'll have a look at how it's looking, see whether I got all the jobs done that I wanted to do, see if the tomatoes are plotted up, do a quick health check on the rest of the plants, and see what I've done with everything else as well. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Very relaxed, laid back one. If you did enjoy it, please do consider dropping me a like. Subscribe if you want to see videos similar to this one. and hit the bell icon as well if you want to be notified every time I upload a video, just so that you don't miss one. I'll let you go. As always, thank you ever so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.